look out over the mountain. Welcome back to Troyer's Travels, and today we're here in Italy. We're checking out the 52 galleries or 52 tunnels. It's a series of tunnels created by Italian engineers during World War I to protect soldiers from the Austrian-Hungary and also to provide a way to transport supplies via mule. As we came up the mountain, the roads were kind of narrow, and there were some places where even our Mini Cooper couldn't get by another vehicle if one was coming the opposite direction. So keep that in mind. We also went during spring, and as you can see, the parking lots were not very full at all. So that was a plus for us. The downside was there was some snow up in the mountains there. Kids loved it. They were able to play some. Parking here is €6 for the entire day, and you're able to take advantage of that. It's right past the entrance to the 52 galleries. And you're going to find some machines like you have at other places in Europe. You have the option to pay by the hour, but if you can, it might be a good idea to go with the longer period because it takes a little while to go through all 52. You may also want to download the maps ahead of time so you'll have that. These are some of the things you'll see as you come into the main area here, the path that leads to these 52 tunnels. A lot of information about the military and how these tunnels were used, and some prohibitions, things to do, things not to do. Remember, this is a dangerous area because there's not a railing on most of this path, and it's going to be going through the mountains. Watch out for falling rocks. Watch your step, and definitely bring some safety equipment. You can snap some photographs as you start to go up, but also keep in mind that the higher you go through these tunnels, the better your view is going to be. When you first go through the gate and then you walk down this path for a little bit, you're going to wrap around the corner, and there's going to be a pavilion with some more history and some other things that explain the border and explain the uses of these tunnels a little bit better than the ones in the main entryway that we passed a minute ago. The area you see just ahead there is this shelter right here, and it's really nice because it gives a little bit of protection from the elements, just like the inside of the cave does, of course. As we were reading through all this information, we took a minute to send a message to our friends and family through the Marco Polo app. We like this app a lot because of the fact that we can record video messages anywhere in the world, and friends and family get it whenever they can, unlike a standard phone call where they have to answer it in order to talk to us. It also works offline, so as we were going through the caves, we were able to record messages, and then it posted whenever we got out of the cave, as opposed to another social media app which I needed internet access for and could not do a live broadcast. Up this trail just a little bit further is the first tunnel, and it is by far the most glorious as far as the entrance goes. As you can see, a lot of work was done to make this tunnel look nice. Some of the signage said that this was to encourage people to stop and reflect as they entered, and to remember the many sacrifices that were made during World War I. This tunnel is like a lot of the other ones, fairly short, and as you go through, you have to zig and zag, but the rest of the tunnels that we went through don't have this. As you go through, you may have some markers of various kinds and some dates and things like that sitting along the path. As you look down at the first tunnel, and then here's the second tunnel we're about to go into. It's kind of average. Some of the tunnels take longer to get to than others. If you notice above the door or the entryway of the tunnel, you're going to see numbers for each one. Number 2 is actually one we're going to stop for a minute and check out because just inside the door they have some really awesome stuff. There's a room, and my family took a minute. We went in there to check it out. At this time, I'm going to note that you're going to probably want to bring some flashlights. I brought the Energizer Romeo with me. It's real tiny, and I love it. I've had it for many years now, but you definitely don't want to attempt going through these tunnels or galleries without a flashlight of some kind. A little offshoot of number 2 here has a dead end. Looks like stuff collapsed, so we went back and continued on our journey. When we got back to the beginning of cave number 2,
we were able to look down the tunnel. Number 2 was probably a little longer than most of the tunnels, but it was pretty fun because not only did you have a little secret entryway there, but you also had a little place up here with the light coming through it. They have several of these along the way, and it's just a hole in the rocks. Could have been that they came in and went out through these, but either way they have chains on most of them, or cables on most of them, but you can get some good pictures if you stay back and are careful. Some of these caves were a lot more fun than others because also at the very end of cave number 2 they had this area. My kids loved it. They went through and checked out the view from there. Here we are inside of tunnel number 2. So you can see it's kind of dark back there. At the beginning of tunnel number 2 they had a little alcove you could go out of. And as we near the end of the tunnel here, you're going to be able to see a really cool spot. The kids love it. So you can look out over the mountains and stuff like that. As you come out here, you don't want to climb up through all that. You have a really great view as well. This is tunnel number 3. And what you get? Wow. So as we enter tunnel number 3, you can see that someone has set up a little memorial there for Jesus Christ. It's close to Easter when we're visiting here, so I'm not sure if this is around all year long or someone just set it up here for Easter or what, but that's kind of a fun thing. Let's continue checking out these tunnels. One thing to take note of before you go and to assess is your physical abilities and the physical abilities of those who are going with you. These early tunnels, if I remember correctly, all seem to have a fairly small incline, and so our children were able to manage just fine. Some of the later tunnels were a little steeper, and we actually went all the way to tunnel 17. This is an adventure we definitely don't recommend for young children. And if you have children in the 8 to 12 year old range or so, we don't recommend going past 15 for sure. Some of the tunnels, like number 2, were very long, and others, like number 6 here, were pretty short. You can see daylight right through the other side. The kids are like number 7 because it had this little entrance right before you got to the mouth of the cave, and they could climb up and down through that on the way up and on the way back. In between number 7, number 8, they have this sign, and then when you go into number 8, notice that the terrain is changing and it's a little more steep, a little more rocky. When you get to number 8 though, this is a really awesome cave. If you take the path to the left, you continue on to the other tunnels, and if you take the path to the right, you're going to be able to see a cannon that they have preserved and set aside so you can view. Once you make the turn to the right, you pretty much have to go to the end of the cave and then turn to the left, and there'll be some nice areas for you to view things. Once you find the spot where David's at right there, you can head that way and you'll be able to see this cannon that they have set aside. They also have a plaque set up so you can read about it. The lighting wasn't really good. You have the window right behind it, so bring something with a good flash if you want to get a good picture of it. And here's a look at the informational sign that tells about the cannon. Cave number 8 had another fun surprise. It was this tunnel right here. It kind of just went straight down, and we decided to follow the thing, see where it led to.
We're spelunking in a dark and narrow cave.
If you're wondering where this thing leads to, like we were, you can either follow it or you can keep watching for the spoiler, because sure enough we found it.
Nice. So really dead end? Dude. Yeah.
I found this on a rock and this just on the ground.
Cave 10 looks short.
As you move between some of these caves, you'll notice some very sharp drop-offs. This one had a wire on the right side so that you could grab onto that and you wouldn't have to worry about falling. Some of them don't have wires, so be careful.
11 has an awesome view.
The higher you get, the colder it is. There's some ice hanging down, and the views are just amazing up here. Right before you enter tunnel number 13, you can see there's a plaque just inside, and this plaque has a flower next to it and a picture of somebody. An ever so gentle reminder to be careful as you're exploring these tunnels or galleries. And as you look at this, you'll be able to see tunnel number 13 definitely has more of an incline than the previous tunnels we've explored. And again, we only went to the front of 17 because of the fact that the terrain got much more steep than we wanted to take on with our two kiddos. Here's the end of cave 13 with some snow outside, and then also the beginning of 14 has some snow outside. This footage was taken in March, so keep that in mind if you go during the early spring. Cave 14 there had some random bits of ice inside of it, and also, since it was so cold, it had some snow at the end as well. As you can see, the snow was piled up pretty high outside of this tunnel, and we decided we'd go ahead and find one more past this, and once we got there we were going to turn around. This is also a place where you can find another informational plaque or sign, and this one tells about a structure that used to be at this location.
Even with the airplane. Just about.
And as we were admiring the plaque and reading through it, my kiddos spotted an airplane in the distance and noted that we were just as high as the airplane was.
You can see them coming from that way. Continue our climb. The views are awesome, but definitely steep. And it's been a while between tunnels.
On this trip, we also brought a flat Stanley, which my daughter has, and we brought Muley the Mule as well, which my son had. You can find him at muleythemule.com.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Here's a look at another memorial plaque we encountered along our way, as well as a little bit of a switchback as we were going up and down the mountains. This, again, is really steep terrain, so be very careful.
Yeah. This tunnel here is crazy because even the kids have to duck. Here we are at the 52 tunnels in Italy. Some good views up here. We're at tunnel number 17 right now. And we're actually going to go back down this way. Here's number 16. It's March and some of these tunnels have some ice and snow. As you can see, rather dark. So if you have kids or anyone younger, we highly advise going through only up to tunnel 15, because tunnel 15 is actually probably about as far as I would generally go if you have anyone younger than 8. He's 8 right there, and tunnel 15 would be the farthest I'd recommend going, because once you hit the end of 15, you're gonna hit this type of thing, small tunnel, and also this area right here is really treacherous to get up, really steep. So 15, stop there. Thanks for joining us at the 52 Tunnels. Please check out my books at amazon.com/author/David H. Troyer. Check us out on our other social media websites. Consider becoming a sponsor on Patreon. Have a great day. I hope to see you in our show. always check out my books at www.amazon.com.
Stop! Why are you doing that?
Your face.
You get so serious. That's why I make faces at you.
Yeah, well, Jesus did die for us.
It's like a
Somebody set up a little memorial there.
Yeah, it's the base of it.